Thanks for staying with us. This is World Health News Today. I'm Don Laugeson, and I'm joined by a distinguished group here, Dr. Sheila Foreman. Always good to see you, Sheila.
Thanks, Don.
And Dr. Elizabeth Laugeson. Of course, you're the director of the UCLA Peers Group.
That's right.
And we're talking about autism all this week, and I know that you just presented in London a talk there. Tell us about that.
Yes, I was presenting at the International Meeting for Autism Research in London, which was one of the largest autism conferences of its kind. And I presented on our UCLA Peers program, which is a social skills program for teenagers with high-functioning autism. Well, you know, social skills changes so much over the lifespan. You know, when children are younger, it's really focused on things like how to play appropriately with friends, how to share and take turns in games. But once you hit adolescence, social skills really changes pretty dramatically, and everything really focuses much more on conversational skills. And we know with autism that communication deficits are very significant. And so not surprisingly, these conversational skills are quite impaired for adolescents with autism, and that really seems to be the primary deficit in social skills for teenagers. Well, it's interesting because one of the first things that parents will often tell kids when they're being teased or bullied is they'll tell them to ignore the person or walk away. And if you ask a teenager if that actually works, I would say 99% of the time they will say no, it does not work. And they're right, it doesn't work because the person just follows you. They know that they've basically pushed your button. And so what we teach kids to do instead is to act like what the person said didn't bother you. But that's by giving them some kind of a short comeback, something like saying whatever, so what, big deal, who cares, something like that. So you're giving the impression that what the person said didn't bother you, and you're making it less likely that they're going to want to tease you in the future because it's not fun for them.
When a child's 13 to 17, the parents are pretty much still involved, but another 10, 15 years down the road, that's not going to be the case. How do you prepare your I'll call them students, for life after mom and dad?
Well, you know, this is a really critical point because actually if you look at what ends up happening with adolescents with autism spectrum disorders is they do tend to be rather dependent upon their families even when they transition into adulthood. But the wonderful thing about improving social skills is that it actually increases independence, and that's really important for our individuals with autism. And so that's I think one of the nice benefits of teaching social skills is that it does lead to a more independent lifestyle.
When you think health, think IRU.